Okay, so hello everyone. So let's start with the next question. What is test driven development? So test driven development is TDD and it is popular software development technique first introduced by Kent Beck in his book with the same name published in 1999. In TDD, a developer works on a feature, first writes a failing test, then write just enough code to make the test pass. Once they are passing test, they add another failing test and then write just enough code to pass the failing test. This cycle repeats until the developer has a fully working feature. If the code under the test has external dependencies such as database, file, or a network, you can mock them to isolate the code. So here's the diagram of TDD. Write a failing test, then make the test pass, and then the refactor and again. So what are the benefits of TDD? So here are a few benefits. Writing test first forces you to think about the feature you are trying to build, helping you produce a better code. And as you always have working set of tests at hand, a failing test indicates that the problem is within the code. You just added reducing the time spent in debugging. Testing writing helps the developer to clarify the requirement and specification. It challenges to the write good test for the poor set of requirements. It's tough to produce high quality software unless you can test the software after each new challenge. You can never be sure that your code didn't break the working software. TDD gives you the confidence to add new code as you already have a test in place. Next question is, what is manual testing? So in manual testing, a tester manually verifies the functionality of the software. The tester has a comprehensive list of all the test cases they should test along with the test data. They have enough through each case. One by one, they launch the software as end user would, enter the input and manually verify the output. It may seem that manual testing is insufficient when compared to automated testing. It's slow and non-repeatable in a consistent manner and prone to human misjudgment. However, manual testing allows the tester to realistically test the software using actual user data in the manual user environment, subject to similar external conditions. Only human, not a computer, can evaluate the usability and accessibility of the application and how it looks and feels to the end user. So basically in automation you can't think that it can tell you that how it looks and feels. Only by manual testing you can tell someone that how your application looks and feels to the end user. Finally, some test scenarios just come into automated and need to be manually tested. So that also come into manual testing. You should always have a manual tester, manual testing before trying to automate the test. So also for the automation, you have to test the software manually first, right? So that's the manual testing. Next question is cross-browser testing. Most of the interviewers ask this question: What is cross-browser testing for the for the freshers? And all the web applications run in browsers such as Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, etc. So they all work primarily the same, implementing the web standards, and there are subtle difference in between all of them. When building the software, it is not always possible for the developer to test the feature on multiple browsers, noticing the inconsistencies. So in browser software testing, a software tester launches the web application in all the spotted browsers and tries to test the same functionality in all of them. So they note down all the unexpected behavior in the browser that doesn't work as expected and looks different. For example, if you're testing in a Chrome and the same feature you are checking in some other Safari or in Internet Explorer, you come to know that the image is broken, and or for example the size of the pop-up is different and it's not looking good, and some of the elements are just distorted. So that's just, some things you can come to know if you do the cross browser testing. So that's why cross browser testing is also important. So what is automated testing? Right now till now we just talk about manual testing and a basic testing terms. So what is automated testing? As the name suggests, automated testing which is called a test automation, is a programmatic execution of the tests. The tester uses an automation tool or a software like Selenium to write code that perform the following task: automatically run the software, feed the input data to the system, examine the output with the expected outcome, fail the test if the result doesn't match, otherwise the pass the test. Once the test is automated, you can run it as often as you want to check if the new code has broken. It enables you to spend your time on the high value test, such as exploratory testing that helps to find bug and then an automated test would miss. So automated testing is beneficial for the repetitive testing with inputs that doesn't change frequently. So human get tired and bored from the conducting the same test repeatedly and seeing the same results. It's easy to make mistakes when you are testing a feature for the 20th time. So software is much better at doing this repetitive work without getting tired or making mistakes than the human operator would. So that's the best answer when it comes to, when someone asks you if you do a manual testing, why you need a automation testing. So basically, if we're doing something repeatedly and the same things are happening and the same results is going to happen, then for that we can do automation testing. For example, when we are just trying to build a new feature, every time we have to test our old features also, right? So we have to maintain that the old features are also working fine. In We can't say that we are just testing a new feature and we can't test our old features, because when the software gets completed, we have to also make sure that all the old features are also working fine. So whenever the new feature is built, instead of doing the whole regression, we can automate the testing and we can test our old features by automation. So that's where the automation is important here. So, what is the difference between quality control and quality assurance? And that's a very important question and very important. And interviewer also always asks this: what is the difference between quality control and quality assurance? So, what is quality assurance? Let's talk about quality assurance first. So, in software development team, a quality assurance QA ensures that software is thoroughly tested before releasing to the end users. So before releasing, we have to make sure that the whole software is working very well. QA activities are generally performed while the product is being developed and focuses on improving the software development process. So if for a QA activities basically just begin with whenever the product is being getting developed, and we focus on the improving the software also. So in many software organizations, a tester and a QA can be the same person, but they can be different too depending upon the organization size. So if your organization size is big, then there can be different two person. A tester can be a different person and a QA person can be a different. So the goal of the QA is to ensure quality of the shipped software. Then the quality control, QC. It main aims to ensure that the developed product meets the required standard or not. So the required standards are what the end user or the client wants. So the QC main aim is to ensure that whatever the product you have made, that should meet the standard requirements. So QC is a process in the software engineering that is used to ensure software product quality by testing and reviewing its functional and non-functional requirements. QC activities are generally performed after the product is developed, as it examines the quality of the end user and the final outcome. So I hope you understand the both difference between them, and also we will talk about this more in the further interview questions. That's the basic, just a basic understanding what is the difference between QA and QC. If you want to know more about this, you can search the QA and QC difference, or you can check my videos. You will find some more interesting videos where you will get to know all about QA and QC. Okay, so next question is, what is a wait a second. Okay, so what is a software bug? A software bug is a error in the software that produces wrong result. For example, we are testing something and we found some error, or we found something that the user is not able to click on the sign up button, or when you click on the sign up button, you got something error, or you just direct it to some other page, so that's the error. That's the bug. So there are many causes for the bug. For example, poor design, sloppy programming, lack of the version control, or misconception. Throughout development, developer introduces hundreds or thousands of bugs in the system. The goal of the tester is to uncover those bugs. You can find a bug in many different ways regardless of your role. When building the software development might notice the bug in the another module written by the another developer or by themselves also. So it's not like that if the developer had written the code, they can't find that some error in that. So the second time, third time they are looking at that error, they may find some error written by themselves only. So the tester actively tries to find the bug as part of the routine testing process. Finally, the user could see the bug when the software is in production. So, bug is when the user could see the issue or the error that had left in the during the development and during the testing part, and in the production, then the user could see the that thing that is known as bug. And all bugs, no matter how they are found, are recorded into bug tracking system. A triage team triage the bugs and assigns a priority to the bug and assign to the bug to the software developer to fix it. Once the developer resolves the problem, they check in the code and mark that bug as already ready for testing. And once that bug is ready for testing, it goes to the tester who tests the software and to verify if it is needed to fix. And if it is not fixed, then if it's still occurring, then the tester can mark it as reopened, and if it's fixed, then they mark it as a closed. And so, for example, for the popular bug tracking system are Bugzilla and Fogbugs. So yeah, next question is, write some common mistakes that lead to major issues. Okay, so basic mistakes are poor scheduling, underestimating, ignoring small issues, not following the exact process, and improper resource allocation. These are the few mistakes that may lead to a major issue. What is a user story? You may, if you if you have some experience in testing field, some of the in the interview questions, interviewer may ask you what is a user story. So make sure you knew this. So here's the answer: all software has a target user. A user story describes the user motivations and what they are trying to accomplish by using the software. Finally, it shows how the user uses the application. It ignores the design and implementation details. A user story aims to focus on the value provided to the end user instead of expect input they might enter and expected output. In the user story, the tester creates a user personas with real name and characteristics and tries to simulate a real life interaction with the software. A user story that helps fish out hidden problems that are often not revealed by some formal testing processes. What is test environment? So test environment is something where we have to test some particular software. So that's not an easy thing that all the software can't be tested in a just a normal generic environment. There are some code or some software applications that they have some specific environment. So a test environment consists of a server computer on which the test runs, and it different from the development machine. So testers have a different kind of environment setup, and they tries to represent the actual hardware on the software will run once it is in production. However, a new build of the software is released, a tester update the test environment and with the latest build and runs the regression test suite. Once it passes the test, move into the testing new functionality. Okay, so last question of this video is, list some of the popular testing tools, frameworks, providing a brief description of each. So I'm talking about some of you are Selenium, Protector, Cypress, Jasmine, JUnit, and NUnit. So Selenium is a web browser automation tool that automates the test suite by and you need to run on the web browser. So Selenium, we are also gonna talk about Selenium in the further videos. We will talk about how the Selenium works and how you can basically that will be a full course with Selenium with Java, and we will talk about that in our later videos. So Protector, end-to-end test framework for Angular and AngularJS applications. Protector runs tests against your application running in a real browser, interacting with it as a user would do. And Cypress, a modern front-end testing tool built for the modern web. So it's similar to the Selenium and the Protractor. It is architecturally different from them. Jasmine is an open source JavaScript testing framework that allows you to write behavior driven tests. JUnit and NUnit, these are unit testing frameworks for Java and C# programming languages, respectively. So that's all about today in this video, and we will talk more questions in the next video. So bye bye.